What's good, people? Elder J here. I was just wanted to make this video. I have some thoughts going on in my head, and I just wanted to get them out and to just put them out somewhere so that I can ponder on them. But I figured if I get these out, they may be able to bless somebody. So might as well make a video. So I was having a conversation with a brother yesterday. We were talking about some of the recent things that's going on, recent phenomenon that's starting to go on. You're starting to see people leave the faith, and a lot of these people are like Christian celebrity types, and have well known. They're well known. They have lots of following, and you know, for one reason or another, they end up leaving the faith, and you know, it's causing a lot of people to have these kind of contemplations and think about these things, and so I was also thinking about this phenomena and thinking about it made me reflect on myself as far as why am I still a Christian, right? And and in that reflection, I had to think about why I'm so rooted, why I'm so grounded, and why I can say I ain't going nowhere. And that's because I began to think about when I got saved. When I got saved, I was 9 years old, right? And I know this because I had just recently had to look for something, and I saw my baptismal certificate or whatever. So I know the year I was saved in 1989, right? I was 9 years old, not yet 10. I was turning 10 later that year. And I remember I grew up in church, so the whole time I was growing from an infant on up, I remember being in church, hearing preaching, singing, all that good stuff. But I go to church, and I remember this one Sunday, my mom is sitting next to me, and she's sitting at the aisle seat, and I'm sitting to her left. And I remember the sermon was over. I don't remember what he was talking about, but I remember him making that altar call. If you're from any evangelistic type church, Baptist church, Pentecostal type churches, after a sermon, you get some kind of altar call, what they would call altar call, to come and to respond to the message that you've heard. And I remember hearing, I seen this done all the time, but for some reason that particular Sunday, my ears were opened enough that I heard the gospel as if it was for the first time. And when I heard this gospel, I began to recognize that I'm a young boy, but I've seen enough to know that people are sinners, that God is holy, God is just, and people are sinners. And if I continue to live, I wasn't all that good at 9. I knew that I had issues with myself, but I knew that even if I grew, the bigger I would have gotten, the more I would have grown, I was just going to get worse. And so I was confronted with my sinfulness for the first time. And I remember just sitting next to my mother, and I just start crying. And as he's talking, I just get up, and my mom's sitting there like, why is he standing? She's looking at me, and I just scoot right past her. I ain't say nothing to my mother. I scooted right past her, got into that aisle, and walked down. And I remember them taking me to the back and talking about, you know, what the decision that I was making, what was I up here for? And I remember being confronted with my sin and understanding that God exists, and this God is holy, and this God loved me enough. to send his son to die for my sin so that I could be in relationship with him. Now, I can explain that better now, but at the time, that was what I came to Jesus for. Now, of course, all since, for these last, over, I don't know how many, it's over 30 years I've been with the Lord. I've learned more, I've grown more, I've studied more. But out of all those things that I've learned, all those things that I've attained, all the knowledge that I have increased in, none of those things are why I'm still a Christian. I'm still a Christian for the same reason that I became one when I was 9 years old, because I knew that I was a sinful person and I had to stand one day in front of a holy God. And if I did not have Christ, that I was going to be separated from him eternally. And so I wanted to bring that out because a lot of people, when they come into the faith, they come into it for different reasons. Some people come into it because, they're wanting to find a spouse, and the good girls and good boys or good men and good women, they hang out at church, or they may find themselves in a down spot. One day you was feeling so down and you just was like, hey, maybe I'll go to church. That'll make me feel better. You know, Somebody may have gone and they got invited to church and they heard some preacher saying that if you give your life to Jesus and hanging out with Jesus, he'll make sure that you're healthy and wealthy the rest of your life and all that other kind of stuff. And some people, came in for those reasons, or somebody needed a job and they figured if I just get with Jesus, I could pray and maybe, maybe he'll answer my prayer to get me a job. Or there's a whole bunch of things and reasons why people make these decisions. And in this age where information is coming from everywhere, social media, people making videos, everybody's an expert at it, whatever they want to be at, and they can talk about anything, and mixed messages are coming from all over the place to confuse people, to throw people off. And it matters, why'd you come in the first place? You know, as you start to learn and grow and read more and study more, there's things I've had to learn. I've had to learn about how we got the Bible. I had to learn, it wasn't this beautiful, I don't know, pristine way of transmission. It wasn't like these golden tablets fell from the sky and, everybody just, took out their cell phones and took a picture of these golden tablets. And now that's how we have the Bible today. Like it, you know, I had to really learn all these things. I had to learn about all kinds of stuff, verses that I used to take out of context. I had to learn how to properly exegete and do hermeneutics and all those other kinds of things. And yes, those things have all been helpful, but none of those things are why I'm still in the faith. And, some people, because they came in wrong, when they start to gain all this information and gain all this knowledge, it changes so many things that they thought about or that they believed ahead of time, that is so much that it actually causes them to stumble and causes them to fall away. Some of the information they're getting there is actually false and fake and pseudo information that causes them to get confused and fall away. But some of the stuff, it's actually true things that they thought one way about something. And as they learn more, it challenged them so much that it kind of messed them all up. I kind of see it almost like as a Jenga puzzle. You put stack all these wood blocks together, and as you're pulling pieces out, it makes the tower a little unstable. So if you start pulling any more from any certain location, it'll be too much, and then the tower just falls down. And for me, the blocks that make up my foundation have always been God exists. He loved me enough to send Jesus. And so those are my foundations. My foundations are not built on the transmission of the scriptures. The foundation is not predicated on the the moral argument or the teleological and the ontological arguments of God for God, or the evidence for a divine mind, an intelligent design, or anything like that. Those things I've learned those things, and I've had to, learn those things, and those have actually helped and strengthened and all that other kind of stuff. But that is not why I'm still here. I was thinking about this, and an example kind of came to my head. It's like there are times I've gone to the store. I said, you know what? Looked in. It's breakfast time. I look in the fridge. We don't have any eggs. We don't have any bread. Need some orange juice. I say, you know what? I'm going to the store. Get me some eggs, some bread, and some orange juice. And my wife may be like, hey, when you get to the store, make sure you pick up some chips and some cookies. And I need, something out of that frozen food, so some ice cream or something like that, or some peanut butter, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I get to the store and I say, okay, let me go grab this ice cream. Let me grab the peanut butter and the cookies and all this stuff. And then I'm like, okay. And then I leave out the store. And then as I get home, I'm like, man, I forgot the eggs and the bread and the orange juice. I forgot what I went to the store in the first place for. And so I started telling my wife, look, I'm going to the store to get some eggs, some bread, some orange juice. If you need anything, text it to me. So I would get to the store. And when I get to the store, I go and she'll text me what she wants, the cookies and the chips and the peanut butter or whatever. And I will go to the store, get my eggs, get the bread, get the orange juice, put them in the cart. Then I look at the text message and see, okay, what else did she ask for? And when I leave, yeah, I got all the extra stuff, but I don't leave without the things that I came there for in the first place. Some of us have gone to God for one reason. And when we got there, we started saying, okay, let me grab some chips. Let me grab some cookies. And then you end up leaving without recognizing and realizing, what was I here for in the first place? And so for me, yeah, I picked up some cookies and I picked up some peanut butter along the way. Y'all see all of that? Yeah, I could picked up, some ice cream and some other things. But the reason why I came, I never left the fact that I needed some eggs, some orange juice, some bread. And so I'm going to just want to encourage you guys, do not remember why you went in the first place, and don't leave without getting what you came for in the first place. The old hymn says, on Christ, the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. All other ground. All other ground is sinking sand. Don't leave without getting what you came for. And make sure you came for the right thing. In Jesus' name. Y'all be blessed.